Edward Stourton dead. Legendary BBC Radio 4 host dies surrounded by family. BBC Radio legend Edward Stourton died on Saturday, July 18, aged 68, surrounded by his family, the BBC announced in a statement. No cause of death has been confirmed, but he had been battling prostate cancer since 2014. He revealed his diagnosis in his 2023 memoir Confessions, telling readers he had been diagnosed a decade earlier. He had treatment, but was later told it had become incurable and spread.
Tired of messy watermelon prep? The crisp taste 2-in-1 watermelon cutter slices neat cubes quickly, then switches to a retractable fork for easy serving with less mess. Want to check today's Amazon deal? Scan the QR code now or visit grabdeal.us/3 before it's gone.
Despite this, the star had continued to work until recently. He had begun his career at ITN and was part of the team that launched Channel 4 News. He would later become the program's first Washington correspondent in the latter years of Ronald Reagan's presidency. His BBC tenure began in 1988, when he became the broadcaster's Paris correspondent. His work for the channel also included a stint presenting the 1 o'clock news on BBC One, work on Panorama, Assignment, Correspondent, as well as presenting a phone-in program on Radio 4, Call Ed Stourton. His most high-profile BBC role came in 1999, when he was announced as presenter of the flagship Today program. He also had the distinction of being one of the first correspondents to reach New York after the 9/11 terror attacks. He left his role on Today in 2008, but he remained at the BBC and went on to present several other news programs. Most recently, he had been writing and presenting documentaries for Radio 4. He also fronted the network's religious affairs program, Sunday, and regularly hosted The World at 1 and The World This Weekend. His last book, Made in America, The Dark History That Led to Donald Trump, was published in January this year to coincide with the 250th anniversary of the American Declaration of Independence. Amy Rylance, Director of Health Services, Equity and Improvement at Prostate Cancer UK, paid tribute to the star in a statement, praising his legacy and highlighting the condition. We're saddened to hear of the passing of Edward Stourton, and our thoughts are with his wife, Fiona, and his children. We're grateful to him for speaking openly about his diagnosis in his memoir, and in doing so, raising life-saving awareness among men across the country. We believe men like Edward, who receive a later-stage diagnosis, should not have their lives left to chance. That's why we're investing in groundbreaking research like our £60 million Transform trial to find the safest and most effective way to screen men for prostate cancer. And we need the support of people across the UK to build a future where no man dies from this disease. Further tributes flooded in for the star following the announcement. Radio 4 star James Naughty said, "As a friend, he was always a rock of support and kindness. His dignity and courage through his illness were an inspiration to everyone who knew him." BBC News Global Director and Deputy CEO, BBC News and Current Affairs, Jonathan Munro, recalled, "I worked as his producer when he was ITN's diplomatic editor, unflappable then and ever after. Many years later, I was listening to his superb analysis of the new Pope for the BBC, another of his many areas of expertise. Not many broadcasters can present today, BBC One's 1 o'clock news, The World at 1 and Sunday, but he did. He leaves a huge gap." Radio 4 controller Mohit Bakaya said Stourton brought intelligence, authority, and an extraordinary hinterland to everything he did. When Ed was behind the mic, whether on Sunday or the various news programs he regularly presented for Radio 4, you felt you understood the world that little bit better. Our thoughts are with his family and friends at this sad time.